Howdy, Beefalo Bart here, and welcome to the Wednesday night stream show. Yes, I stream a lot. I love you guys so much. That's why I stream so often. That I have no frickin' life, except for Unreal Engine 4 and you guys. But anyway, so, gonna reintroduce something that I was starting to do before. I'm actually starting to get some interest in and people partaking in, and that is private sessions. Give you love and one-on-one just the way you need it, baby. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So with the private sessions, yeah, I'm trying to get in a better mood over this phone crap from earlier. But with the thing of what we're going to do here is with the private sessions is via Discord, doing private calls and doing one-on-one assistance with people on a paid basis. Just allocating roughly about 1 hour's time, and for the low price of only $20. Paid via PayPal, and throw the bucks my way. Set up a time. I'll make sure I'm available for you, and you'll have my undivided attention inside of a private call where I can share my screen and show you how I do things and help you get in the right direction. And you can also share your screen as needed, and we can go back and forth and make sure you're doing things the way that you should be doing, or help you out with a problem. And you know, if I can't help you with a problem, I'm just going to tell you right up front, I can't help you with that. So I'm not going to take your money and waste your money if I can't help you with something. So if it is something that I can help you with, then it's $20 and you get roughly about an hour. A little bit more if you need it. Then, you know, I'm not going to get too crazy over an hour. So want to shoot for the $20 per hour. Now, I'm going to recap one that I did with somebody yesterday as part of this video, and to start incorporating it into the map and what we're actually doing in that particular one. And I created a test map just for working on this, and I'm using the Polygon Town. And if you hit play, I still need to switch character, I haven't done that yet. See, we started adding some lighting in a simple method, but in a way I like doing it because it looks better, if you ask me. To make some adjustments to the brightness levels here and there, but you can see what we've done is we've added the running lights to the fire truck, but we also have the right turn signal is on. And I'm going to show how I did it, and then I'll go into another vehicle and I'll do the same process so you can see how I did it. You can see we got the right turn signal on to indicate that it's actually going to make a right hand turn even though there's nobody in it. Then I'll actually go into the vehicle itself and into the blueprint, and what I have, the way that I've done it is, you can see I have the right blinker as a custom event. I can come in here and change that to left blinker and do the exact same thing, and I go back in here by changing that off of the event begin play. Now we can see we have the left blinker is going, and it operates all the lights that are on the left side that would be the normal turn signal lights for this vehicle. Pretty cool. Alright. Do the same thing for light bars and so forth, but this is what we're doing as part of that video for that particular session. Now you could also come in here and delete that, and what if I want to do the four-way emergency flashers, and compile, go back in here. Now we look, we've got the four-way flashers going. So you can run it any way that you want to suit your needs. And since it's in here as a blueprint, all you have to do is drop it into the map and it works. Now if you wanted to have one that has a right turn signal, one that has a left turn signal, one that has four-way flashers, and have all three of them separately in the map, then you need to make a copy of each of those blueprints and change the lighting around. So I thought that was really cool, and let's actually showcase how that goes on. If you click on it, you can see all the, it's even got headlights that are on, but they're just in like a daytime capacity. If you look at reflection on the wall up ahead, you can actually see that the headlights are reflecting. If the lighting was much dimmer in here, they would actually project. So, really cool. So I'm actually going to delete that guy, and we're going to come in here and we're going to make another one based off of the vehicles. So I'm going to go in here to the vehicles in Polygon Town. That was the fire truck. What if we do the pickup truck, or we could do school bus or big trucks or what have you. Hope I didn't delete the wrong thing here. I'm screwing around with this folder and I may have deleted something that I didn't need to delete. Oops. But we're going to use the pickup truck. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to close this blueprint and I'm going to go ahead and go back to my temp folder where I was just kind of screwing around. I'm going to right click and create a new blueprint, actor, L underscore truck underscore BP, whatever your naming convention is for your blueprints, to know that this is a lighted truck blueprint. And then go ahead and open that up and anchor your ass up there. Scroll back down to your vehicles and I'm going to select the truck, go back in here, add component, and when I select my skeletal mesh, the vehicle pickup 01 is already selected. So now I can look and there it is. So the one thing I do notice about this particular one right here is it has turn signals in the front but none on the side. It has a rear turn signal, but there's nothing on the side to indicate a left turn signal or a right turn signal. So that would be the thing. But you do have 2 off-road lights here and 4 off-road lights there, 2 headlights, 2 turn signals, and then you've got the 2 lights on the back. So to start off with, if I want to go ahead and add in lighting, then I can do a couple different things. And I'm just going to rename this to truck, so we know what it is. So I'm going to click off of it, and then I'm going to add a component of you got a rectangular light and point light. Really haven't been messing with these much, so, and I haven't seen where they're as good for what I'm using them for. So I'm just going to use a point light. So we want to take that point light and we want to drag it over here, and we're going to do the turn signals first because reasons. So I'm going to just take this light and get it roughly in position where I want the light bulb to be. And it's really bright because I haven't changed the color and intensity. I'm going to go over here to my light color, select that, and select my orange. And all I did was I picked out a color of orange that I liked. In this case, it was actually this one, which if you want to replicate this color, it's 1 red, 0.4 green, 0 blue, and that's the color that I used. And let's turn down the attenuation radius because we don't need it to be that big. So you can scroll it down, I would say probably around 15, and turn down the intensity to like 200. You could probably even go lower if you wanted to. So it's not quite as bright, the attenuation is much lower, and it's not going to be over the top. Now another way to do it is actually manipulate materials and stuff like that, but I like to get it to where it's actually a point light. That way it actually projects shadow, and things like the lip here is causing a shadow here on the bumper, and to me I actually like this better. So I want to center this up. The next thing I want to do is I want to give this a unique identifier name, because you don't want to just add 47 point lights and not have a name for them. So I know that this is the driver's side front marker light. So I'm actually going to just abbreviate this down, and you can hit F2 to where you can rename it. So it would be D for driver's side, F for front, ML, DFML. Now I could actually take that one, Control C and Control V, and make a new version of it and just drag it over here, and it's going to have all the correct the attenuation radius and intensity, the color, all that's going to be there. I don't have to change the elevation. I can just change the left and right position, and we're good to go. And I can go ahead and F2 to rename it, and that would be P for passenger side, front, because it's the front, and it's a marker light. Now I can, technically speaking, I can shift left click so I can have both of them selected, Control C and Control V, so I can post 2 copies of it. But you can see they're way up here, and I just don't like the way that they look. So I'm actually not going to do it that way. I'm going to delete them, and I'm just going to do one at a time. And with it selected, Control C and Control V, and it puts it in line right there, and I can just drag it straight back. Trouble is this one now is red. It's a different color, different positioning, and so forth. So I'm going to get it roughly in position. And if you think, the way these turn signals work is you have a running light or a constant light, you have a brake light, and usually have a reverse light. But what I'm just going to do for argument's sake here is I'm going to go ahead and change the color to red, and that's just red. 1, green 0, blue 0, and that's it. To save a color up here, you grab it from here, just drag it, drop it onto that bar, and you can save that color and return back to it. So I want to put this to where it's actually going to glow the best for the lights. So if I want to test it out and see how it looks, I'm going to go ahead and compile and save, and I'll just drag that set of a biscuit into the map, and with it here, now I can actually hit play and walk around and check it out. That's not bad. And the front two, they're not bad either. I can live with that. You could actually use 2 of them if you wanted to make it look like both lights are on, but this is going to be good enough. So I want to go ahead and rename this one. This is going to be passenger side, rear, marker light. So with the naming convention that I'm using, Control C, Control V, I know which one's which. And I'll show you why that's handy here in just a minute. Now to get my positioning just right, if I wanted to, I could actually copy part of this location and paste it on, or I can just eyeball it. So I'm changing this number right here. So if this is 100, then I want this to be -100, and it will be symmetric on both sides. So that number is the same, and that number is the same. So now I can actually go back in here and rename that one to D for driver's side, R for rear, ML for marker light. So that's quite simple, and we're going to leave it at this for here. We're going to go take a look at it really quickly and see that they're on. Now if we want other kind of lights like brake lights or what have you, if you're going to animate these vehicles and make them work, you might want a brake light to come on, you might want a reverse light to come on, but this is going to be for our turn signal situation going on. So let's go ahead and go back to our event graph. We're going to delete the event tick and overlap. We're just going to leave our begin play, and we're going to come off of that here shortly. But what I want to do is I want to build a custom event. I'm going to call this right turn signal. Now this is my right turn signals, or for the US, and also keep in mind, look at the steering wheel. Driver's side is this side, which would be the left side. I'm going to make a left-hand turn, so I want my left turn signals, so I want my driver's side lights. So now all I have to do is, so I got my event, D is driver's side, and D, control left click so I can get both of these two. And now I'm going to drag in that, and it's going to give me both nodes as a get node. And that's what I want. And I'm going to start off with selecting this one and set visibility. Go ahead and connect it and make it look pretty. Drag this one, connect it in also, and now it's going to set visibility to off. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to run a delay, and I'm going to set that delay to a nice lovely 0.7. Alright, now I'm going to drag off from here, and I'm actually going to Control C, Control V, so I can paste in another set visibility node. And I need to make sure that I copy this from here to here, from here to here as well. So I have both of these going to here, and now I'm going to check that box, so it's going to turn the lights on. And then I'm going to grab this, Control C and Control V, so I copy the same delay in. And now we're going to turn it off. So instead of continuing on doing that, we can actually take this, loop it back to here. And if we compile and save, now we can actually come in here and type in on event begin play, right turn collide. Tell me where that reference is from. Compose and save. And now if we go in here and hit play, that's our left turn signal. So I said that wrong. So I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to rename it to left. It automatically renames it there. So there we go. Compose and save. And we hit play, and we go. We have our left turn signal now. The back's working, front's working. So now we have turn signals to going to the left. Now we need to do the same thing for the right again. So go back in here, and we're going to go ahead and create a custom event, which is custom event, right turn signal. Again, I like this method. So we did our driver side that time, so we want passenger. So I'm going to highlight, select both, drag it in, and it's going to give me both references. I'm going to just grab this, copy, and paste, connect it here. All my delays are already set, so all I have to do is now drag this to here and also to here. Do the same thing with this one for the passenger front marker light, and drag it to here and compile and save. And then what I'm going to do is come down here and I'm going to do custom event. I'm going to call this 4-way flashers or emergency flashers or whatever you want to call it. And then I want to do left turn signal and right turn signal. So it's going to run both of them at the same time. But let's go ahead and compose and save. We just tried our left turn signal. Let's delete that and come in here and test our right turn signal. Verify that it's working. Right blinkers on and on. So now if we come in here, we can delete that guy and put in our 4-way flashers. So now we have emergency flashers that should be on, which is basically just turning on all of them and blinking all of them. There you go. Rear blinkers are on. Front blinkers are on. So that are that. So that's it. That's for setting up your turn signal system. And it's just a matter of running off event begin play, which one you want. You want your 4-way flashers, you want your left turn signal, right turn signal, or you could actually come in here and I guess if you wanted to, you could do custom and lights off, create that new custom event, and then grab these guys, no worries, left click, drag, and you get all of them in here at one time. And now you drag out from one of these fools, set visibility, and leave that unchecked and just go to right there. Connect all of them to the target. And then now if you want all your lights to be off, now all you have to do is replace the 4-way flashers with lights off. Be good if you want to turn off the light bar on a fire truck or something like that. But now, again, we take a peek and there we go. 4-way flashers are on. Looks like somebody got out and abandoned their vehicle with the flashers in place. quick and easy, right? So let's go ahead and delete that. These are all temps. I'm going to have some really cool, awesome guy go through and make all of my lamps work as blueprints. So what about with other stuff? Ah, yeah. See, if you have two projects open, yeah, it can be a problem. I'm trying to put things in the correct one. Let's look at generic. That's not going to be it. Items. I want to find like a lamp or something of that nature. I'll show you another one that's really cool that I like doing that comes in handy when you're actually trying to add a little bit of realism with the low poly stuff. We'll do that after a lamp. Put the lamp up her ass. Explain that reference. Alright, so we got ceiling light, ceiling fan. We'll do the ceiling fan next. Ceiling light right here, just a regular ceiling light. You got a candle or a ceiling light there, like semi-chandeliered look. That kind of ceiling light. Strip light. Oh god. Be spelling your name with lights on the side of the truck. You can put too many lights on there. Just saying. So let's actually take oh, screw it. Let's take the ceiling light here. Ceiling light 02. Yeah, let's take ceiling light 02. So I'm going to go in here in my temporary folder and I'm going to make a blueprint and I'm going to make a ceiling light 02 BP. Why do you want to put BP or SM or ST or whatever in front? Just in case you ever need to manually move files and you're looking through your file explorer and trying to figure out what the hell's what, you'll know by looking at the name. This is the blueprint for the ceiling light number 2. So we'll go to our items, we'll find ceiling light number 2, toilet paper, and it's not in that one, it's in props. Right there. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to go back into my blueprint, add a component, static mesh, and boom. There it is. Fixture. We're just going to rename it so we know what the poop it is. And you're black. I'm not being racist here, but that should be white. I think my thing is not rendering. So let's do a point light. Let's move the fixture up a little bit. We're not actually going to put it, there we go. It's lighted up now. We wouldn't actually be putting it at that elevation anyway, but we're already at our 0, 0, 0 location. So we're going to grab our point light, and you can do this as a point light, or, and I like doing it as a point light for general use. That's a huge light attenuation radius. So I'm going to bring that down to somewhere around 300. You can adjust it as you need it to and save. And that's going to be the normal lighting. If you want to make it look a little different, you can add some blue to it. You might actually have to change the height of the light bulb. I've got it down a little bit and not exactly right here, because it's going to have a weird shadow effect. So I want to bring it down so it just, I don't know if you guys can see that. Zoom in some here. If you look at the light and you bring it too close, you can see the shadow form on the fixture itself. You don't want the light to be shining on the fixture. You want it just to cover the front of the light bulb. So now if you come in here and you're in a poorly lit area, you need a light now, go in here and put that, move it up, so now it's on your ceiling and you can see it's projecting light, and there you go, getting reflections out of it, and that's good enough for lighting a small room. You can change the attenuation radius as need be. So that's that. Now, to make it even more complicated, You could potentially rig it to a switch, but I'm not going to get carried away with it right now. We're going to get rid of, we're not going to delete it. We're just going to close that. And let's go into something cool. Let's make a ceiling fan. And I don't want a new folder. Why did I make a new folder? Skippy, why'd you let me do that? That's you. Alright, let's make a new blueprint. Actor. Ceiling fan. Blade. Now, I'm actually going to go to the demonstration map, and I'm going to swap this one out as soon as I get done with it. But let's go to our props, and let's find our ceiling fan blades. I'm going to take that, and I am going to... Damn you. Go in the damn blueprint first, you schmuck. Let all that phone catastrophe earlier piss me off. Now I'm not thinking clearly. Grab the ceiling fan blades, and I'm going to go ahead and add component. There we go. And then click off of it. I'm going to add another component. Rotating movement. And I'm going to compile, and then I'm going to save, and then I'm going to go, actually close that up, go into the demonstration map. And we've already changed the fire truck, so, but I can change that pickup truck as well. You're not going to ask me to save my map? Oh no. There we go. Whatever, save selected. Now, there's a couple ways you can actually do this. I know this house has a good full interior, and it has a ceiling fan. Ah, how about that? So I'm going to grab the ceiling fan blade, and I am going to delete. I'm going to select the base for it, and I am going to right click on the location and copy. Now I can come over here, go to my ceiling fan blades, drop it anywhere I want to in the map, and go right click on location and paste, and it copied that information in, and it went too high. So let's bring it down to like so, and let's actually hit play. Yes, I know I need to change characters over. I haven't done that yet. Usually the first thing that I do is I change characters over. Oh, check that out. Ceiling fan is revolving. That was super simple, wasn't it? So now we have a working ceiling fan. Another thing we can actually do is, I'm going to go ahead and save this. It's going to take a couple seconds so I should save it. I'm going to go back to my test map. And one thing I do like is, yeah, it adds some life to your map whenever you do little things like letting a ceiling fan rotate. You're deleting one actor and putting another actor back in, so it's not like you're adding more stress to the map. So it's not that big of a deal. So let's go back to the test map, and we've got our ceiling light already here. So I'm actually going to go back to my ceiling light. I'm not going to keep this blueprint anyway. And let's do something a little bit different. So imagine you're wanting this to be in your map, and I'm going to go ahead and elevate this. This is 76. I'm going to put it at 200. It actually probably needs to be about at 300. You can adjust that if you want to, based on where you're going to put it. But I'm going to actually come in here and add a component of a box collision. And it's a relatively small box. And see, it's right there at ground level. It needs to be raised up because it's halfway through the ground. Raise it up to here. And I'm actually going to change this radius to 10 by 10 by 3. That's good enough. And I'm just going to raise it up. Well, the rule of thumb is with BSPs, this is 3. So, yeah, that's good enough. But this will do for what I'm wanting. The fan will automatically replicate when you do that. It's going to be no problem. It'll replicate just fine. So I've got this box collision here. I'm going to compile and save. and I'm going to delete everything here. I'm going to right click on my box collision, on component begin overlap, do it again, and end overlap. So now I've got these two here, and I want to drag out from my other actor and say cast to player underscore base, and I'm going to control C, control V, so I can have another one here, link that, and link other actor to the object. So what I want to do here is grab a reference to my point light, and again I'm going to set visibility to true. So I'm going to move that here. I'm going to control C and control V, and then I'm going to turn that to true and turn this to false by leaving it unchecked. So what we're going to do here is go back to our point light and turn off visible. Okay, not the fixture or anything else. You just want the light to not be visible. And yes, I know, I forgot to link you down there. Thank you for making me look like a schmuck. So now if we come into our light, we can see our light is too high, the box collision isn't working. So let's go ahead and drag this down, and just needs to be close to the floor. It doesn't have to be all the way on the floor because you're still going to walk through it. So now we come in here, our light's off. See right there? As soon as we get close enough, the light will actually turn on, and then when we leave, it'll turn off automatically. So if you're wanting to light up a hallway by walking through it, you can set up your box collision that way directly with it, so you have direct lighting, or you can actually create a trigger system like I've done for like the Canon trigger. Ooh, yeah. But this is a way that you can do that. If you want to make that, you know, do other stuff like go to a delay, and we'll put in 0.6 delay, and then control C, control V, and connect that into here. So it's going to turn it on 1/6 of a second. It's going to turn it off. You can do other things like, oh my god, please, seriously, are you happy now? So whenever you actually pass underneath there, instead of it turning on and staying on, it will it'll blink. It'll come on for 0.7 of a second, and then it'll go off. Okay, made me look like a liar. Oh, because I have that checked. Idiot. Skippy, you let me do that shit too. So you come in, I'm going to look up so we can see the light. Bank comes on, goes off. You could even, if you want to get fancy, you could come in here and random float in range, and grab both of these, drag them over, and link this to here, and change this from 0.5 to 1.5 or 9.5 or whatever you want. And what's going to happen with that is you're going to walk over here, and it's going to randomly get the amount of time that it's going to stay on and then go back off. So if you're trying to set up a kind of a, what the hell was that? A light just came on, then went right back off again. And whatever, you keep on going and you go through again. Alright, light came on again and just went off again. You can decrease the delay time and kind of make it flicker a little bit too. Add kind of a cheesy little flicker effect. Now, with the ceiling fan, all we did was re-rig the blades. And they still have collision, so that could be interesting for setting up events to happen when the blades hit something. You could have it kill the player or damage them or chop your leg off or whatever, but that works. So you've got that there. And if you want to change the rate of the speed of the ceiling, go to the rotating movement, you have a rotation rate in Z is 180. If you change it to Y, it's going to change the direction of how it's rotating. So if you want to see if it's replicated, you could do 2 and new editor window. Alright, so this is the server. Server comes over. We can see the fan rotating, and you can actually see it over here too. That works. And let's go ahead and go to the client, because that's what really matters. The client sees the blade spinning. And what about the light over here? Yep, works just fine. Yay, and there was much rejoicing. But let's close that down a little bit, and let's close this one down. We want to see if we can see the client. I'm on the client, but the server can actually see the light whenever it comes on and off. That's fine. So let's actually go back over to the server. Let's let the server trigger it, and the client sees whenever the server triggers the light. So there's your replication for you. They work. You don't have to do anything special. Not on these. These are the few things that actually are freebies for replication. You don't have to actually do it. So yeah, you just create that one little thing for the fan, and there you go. So that's a simple thing that looks awesome. Now picture that with the fan blades, and now you could actually come in here and say add component of a box collision, and I'm just going to leave it called box. I'm going to drag it over here. I'm going to resize it, maybe like that, and then like that, and then maybe like this, so we can get it pretty close to the blade. And whatever, we can just slide it a little bit farther so it's contacting the blade here. Now, I'm not going to go through and set up a full damage system, because you will have to do some replication on the damage systems portion of it. But now if I take this and Control C and Control V and take this new version and drag it over, rotate it, and if you can't get the angle just right, just turn off snapping right there, and you can actually do it that way. Positioning a copy of the box collision on all 3 blades. Lovely. And then I'll hit Control V again and do the same thing here. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time making this absolutely perfect. Let me rotate it one more. And that's going to be close enough. So this is where you would actually do this to create damage. If you were using the, like say for an example, the spinning saw blades from Dungeons, and you're wanting to make a kill trap. So let's grab this and delete that. Now what's going to happen is if I drag this in here and I do right click on component begin overlap, if I do that for all 3 of them, I'm going to have to so now we have an on component begin overlap. So we need some way of actually combining all this together, because then we're going to need end overlap for all 3 of them as well. So we could actually come in here and like I said, I'm not going to do damage, so which would be awesome. You could use this to cause damage to the player, cause it to cut a leg off, activate physics and ragdolling and that kind of stuff. I'm just going to add a component of a point light. I'm going to change the color to red, I'm going to stick it right there. I'm going to turn down the attenuation radius to be a little bit smaller. Now compost and save. Go back in here and I'm going to set visibility, point light. Now, if there was only way that I could just combine all these together, like grab this one and put it there, and grab this one and put it there, and then maybe drag this down here so it looks a little nicer, and this down over here. So no matter which one of these we overlap, it's going to turn the light on. Go back over here and turn off visible. So now it defaults to off. And now we do need to come over here and cast to player underscore bytes. So I'm actually going to delete that for now, because we do need to have this in here first, because we want it to be the player, or we could do this. We can cast off from other actor and cast to character. Cast to character means even if a bot runs into it, it's going to work. So I do want to go ahead and do this, and other actor to object for all three of them. And then we can come back over here, and that one event is going to do the same thing. We're going to grab reference to our point light. We're going to set visibility. And then now I'm going to connect this to the top executable of all three of them. You guys got questions and requests, you can jump in here and spout them out. So there, we have that. That should work. Check that. Before I check that, I'm going to do this. Grab all three, Control C, and then new visibility, and then Control V, and paste that in here. And then I'll go back to my box collisions one at a time. Right click, end overlap, and end overlap. Now, you Shri, get your anuses back up here. I'm going to park it there and connect the executable and the object to other actor. Do the same thing on all three of them. So now when any of these blades actually hits our character, it's going to turn them on, and then whenever it's not hitting our character, it's going to turn them off. So now if we come in here and we don't have the ceiling fan blades anymore, set that in here, drag it up, hit play, watch the center, bing, turns it on, and as soon as we're off of it, turns the light off. So that's where, if you're actually doing this, instead of the point light set visibility, then you could actually come in here and do apply damage, and then from that you want to grab the same as character for the damaged actor, hook that up to all three of them, and it won't let me do that. So yeah, it doesn't like it whenever I do this, so I can't hook all three of them up at the same time. So it's not that huge of a deal. Let's do 25 damage every time it hits us. So let's go ahead and connect the bottom one to damaged actor. Worst case scenario, we'll just put three of them up there and just connect them in. I know, this is so terrible. Like so. I would probably do this instead of connecting into all to one set visibility. I would just run this out all the way and do it again here, or Or instead of doing it this way, let's do this, and a simpler fashion would be to create a custom event, hit characters, and create a custom event to do then, because we already have the cast to player character and as player character. Let's see if we can get away with doing it a different way here, and delete those, click on this, and I'm going to go ahead and run on the server. Doesn't have to be reliable. Add an input, and I'm going to put character ref, and then I'm going to hit here, and I'm going to hit character, select this from right here, object reference, and compile, save, and let's see if we can get this to work. So we want to apply damage. See it linked off from there on both nodes. And we also want to then grab our point light and put it in there and set visibility to on, connect that. Adding input nodes to your custom events is a very good thing. So compile and save, and let's actually check that. So it's compile and save here. And now what I want to do is type in hit character, and now whenever I connect it, I can connect this to here, and other actor will then go to it doesn't like that. Alright, I might have used the wrong character reference here. It says character. I can sometimes get this to work. Apply damage to character reference to damaged actor. Yeah, getting the right variable sometimes can be a pain. So you do character character event. Sorry, it just started raining. Character movement component, and it should have been this one. I don't think class reference is going to work. Yeah. So that was a nice thought. Should change that to character object reference. It should have been. Yeah, it doesn't like that sometimes, but you know what? It was a thought that counts. Hit compile and save. The target reference, it should have been the other actor is off of the character reference, but yeah, whatever, didn't work. It was worth a shot. But you could actually just run this off of each one of them to apply damage, and then we just want to go ahead and drag them all up just a wee bit, so we got some more room to work with. Now I want to do all of it. Grab these three, Control C, Control V. So this will apply damage to the actual character. Now, it's not as simple when you're trying to replicate this of just doing it. You actually have to do a few other things too. But this will get you on the right path for setting up a saw blade or a damaging item or what have you. Now, I don't have it set up in the character as well, but let's see what happens. It's not actually damaging me. because I don't think in my player character I have it set up yet for taking damage. Get your anus up there. So when you're doing the damage thing, you see I don't have it set up in here. So what I could do here is find an empty spot and do event any damage. And then what I want to do is I want to grab a reference to my health. I want to get my health and I want to set my health. And what I want to do here is I want to come off from my health and minus, so it'll be float minus float, connect the bottom up to the damage part right there. So whenever there is any damage that happens, it automatically subtracts that from my health and sets my health to a new variable. So that does need to be replicated. It's not that hard to do, but you'd want that to actually then, what did I do here? Yeah, event any damage. So that should, in theory, change our health. That shouldn't matter there. So what kind of requests we got going on here? Really? You're not going to work? You're not going to work? Oh, because I don't have that hooked up correctly because we didn't do that. There. So let's drag this out and let's cast to character and make sure we actually have it hooked up, not cooked up, but hooked up. Damn it, Skippy. And that goes to there. So I'm actually just going to grab this and I'm going to delete these two. And I'm going to grab them all again. Control C, Control V, hook that, hook that. You can, it doesn't have to be a ceiling fan blade. It could be anything you want to instigate damage. This is the basic way you're going to do that, is to cast to character, apply damage, and there you go. That's going to now damage our player because we're just any character. So it should, in fact, and it is not. You suck so much ass. Event any damage, get our health, set our health to health minus damage, and there we go. Holy crap. I just did this in another project and it worked just fine. So let's actually do keyboard G and cast to, no, we can't really cast to on this one. Let's just go ahead and do apply damage. And damaged actor, let's get a reference to self. Set the damage to 25. And yep. So by hitting G, that should inflict damage. There you go. Health bar is going down, and bang, we're dead. I don't have death in here just yet, but that cast to node on the ceiling fan blades, cast to character does work. We're using cast to character here as well, and it's working to turn the light on, but why is it not doing damage? Damaged actor is the character who actually hits it. I love Unreal Engine 4. Shit that usually works just stops working. it's turning the light on and off, so why is it not actually applying the damage there? If I actually took that out and put in cast to player base and hook that up to here, even though it was turning the light on, so it was technically working. Damaged actor is the player base. So again, drag from other actor, cast to player underscore base. And hook that up here. Hook this up to damaged actor. Oh, God, I'm so stupid. Look how much damage we're doing. Dumb shit. Dumb shit. Dumb shit. Damn it, Skip, you let me do this dumb shit. So, yeah, it was turning the light on and it was applying damage, but yeah, it just killed us. Bang. 0. We're dead. So, you can actually come in here and don't need this because we just forgot that we didn't set damage in the apply damage. Oh, damn it, Skippy. I blame you for this. Startup stuff. What the hell was I getting ready to put in here? Well, the one thing that I'm going to need to put in here anyway is going to be a health check. And I want to make a custom event health check. This is something I do as a consistent always thing. I'm always checking my health to see if I have health. So I'm going to get a reference to my health. I am going to set a reference to my health. I'm going to do this a couple times. So I'm going to grab a couple of these guys, throw them in there. I'm going to need them. So what I'm going to do here is create a new variable, max health. And I'm going to change that to a float and put this in player stats, and we can go from here. So we're going to check first off if our health is less than or equal to 0, and then we're going to run a branch. And what we're trying to find out here is if we're dead. If our health is at 0 or below 0, then we want to set our health to 0 so that it gives us a base bottom number. And then custom event, death, compile and save. This is where we would start building our death animation system and everything else. I'm just going to leave that as death for right now. So now I can come in here and put that custom event. It's going to run the death event whenever this happens. That'll be completely changed whenever it goes to be replicated, but for now it's going to get us a thing. It's going to do something. So now I want to go ahead and add another branch. And what I'm trying to do here is I want to check to see if my health, and let's get a reference to our max health. So we'll do float. We want to know if it is greater than our max health. Now I haven't set that value yet, so I'm going to go to my max health and set that to 100. So now I'm going to check to see if my health is higher than my max health. If so, then I want to set my health to what my max health is. So what that's going to do is it's going to be a method of clamping my health at 100. So I can't have more than 100 health at any one given time, and I can't have less than 1,000. So that's that. It's going to set it all to there. This is where I would also create a variable is dead ? And that would be a Boolean. change my category to player stats. So there. I would also then come in here and I would set is dead to true. That's how we would trigger our animation blueprint to actually perform the death animations and that stuff. So I'm going to compile and save. But for now, what we're going to do is we are going to get a reference to our character movement. And we are going to God, I just cannot spell. And it's not animation. It's at we want to set movement and character movement, general settings. Yeah, I need to drink some more coffee because my brain needs to get motivated and working again. I believe it was... See, in the past what I've been doing was deactivate, but deactivate and activate whenever you're talking about character movement does not work in multiplayer replication. So I want to get rid of so you can stop active movement, but that's not what I'm actually looking for. And it's actually to... God, I just cannot spell movement. Disable movement. I mean, that's... But that's not what I actually want to do. It will work for now. But there is another node that you can run off of character movement. I just want to try to remember what the hell it was. Enable isn't that. Activate is not going to work. But it was set movement. I guess I could go ahead and put set in front of it. Set movement mode. Ugh, damn. It's hell getting older. You set movement mode to none, and then we'll run a delay. This is where you would actually, you know, you would have your death animation going on, that kind of stuff. I'm going to set a delay to 2 seconds, and then I'm going to, just for giggles, I'm going to set actor location and rotation, and screw it, we're going to leave it to 0, 0, 0 and everything on there. So in theory what's going to happen is if we come in here and look, we're dead, and it should then at that point we need to hook that up to our event tick. And I don't think I've got one. If you don't know if you've got one or not, just start typing it in, event tick, and if you got one, it'll automatically zoom to it. If you don't have one, it'll create one for you. So now I want to do health check. Run that from there. I know that that right there needs to be run on server. So whenever I get back into multiplayer replication stuff, I will actually delete all of it and put it back in there. So now if you come in here and see the blades are going through us, and we just teleported into the world, because the one thing you have to remember when you're setting in this blanket movement right here, your new location needs to always be at least 100 in the Z value if your floor is at 0. Now, whenever I build my own usual test maps, I usually end up setting that to 110. So now we just need to go ahead and same thing we've got here, get a reference to our character movement, and put that in here. Drag you to there, drag you to here. So we want our movement to return. We will go ahead and set movement mode to walking. You can set it to swimming or falling or flying or custom nav mesh walking, but we're just going to do walking. There's things you can do there. Just saying. I mean, you can set up your death animation to do all kind of stuff. So there, it disabled my movement and then teleported me, and it's steady hitting me, so I can't move anywhere. So let's actually move this frickin' fan so it'll stop hitting me all the damn time. Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. Alright, so now it's killed me and it teleported me, and it'll allow me to continue walking again. So you can do all kind of stuff from your death animation sequence. Instead of actually dying right now, let's do something a little bit different. Just to show some other things you can do when you're setting up triggers and events and stuff like that. Nobody's calling out requests, so I'm just making up shit to show different things you can do. So if you got requests, throw them out there. The Wednesday night show is usually about you guys talking to me and telling me what you want to see. I'm actually going to go in here and go to my character, go to my meshes and materials. I'm going to duplicate that, called red body, and the logo, I'm going to duplicate that one. I'm going to call that red chest or red logo. Now I'm going to go into the red logo. I'm going to check right here, body color, check that, do the red, select OK. You see that this actually has a transparency, an old alpha with it too. So let's go ahead and do that. And let's do 0.5 and no 0. I've never really noticed why it had that. So I'm going to grab that. I'm going to throw it up here also. And there you go. So now we've simulated that. We'll hit save. And because there is transparency on it, we can actually go back into the red body now and just kind of scroll over and scroll over until you find body color. Click it. Click on default value. Select the new color. You can see how it's got transparency also. So I'm going to use that one. And I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to hit save. It should automatically apply and save during this process. Come on. Any day now. Faster. There we go. So we already saved it, and now what I want to do here is in my death sequence, just for giggles, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to grab a reference to my mesh. And my mesh, if you select it, is got two materials, element 0, element 1. So I want to change that material. So with my mesh reference right here, we got material. So let's drag off of here and type in material. Let's try set material. Okay, that looks lovely. Let's grab this and connect that to here. Control C and Control V. And let's connect that to here as well. Now we have element 0 and element 1. So you can see element 0 is our body. So we're going to come over here and select material. And we want to find our blue body as blue material. So we'll just type in right here BLUE. And we're not using blue. We're using red, stupid. Red body. So this is element 1, and element 1, as we know, is going to be the logo. So let's go ahead and change the logo as well to red logo. So what's going to happen now is whenever we die, we're going to turn red. So see, we're a nice white guy. Oh no, now we're red. Now, what could you use something like that for in that same basic system is, I'm going to go ahead and first off, I'm going to go ahead and change my character over to Cindy Studios characters. It's an easy process. I'm going to go to my characters folder. I'm going to create a new folder called animations, and I'm going to create a new folder called mesh. Not meh, but mesh. Damn it. So now I'm going to grab my Cindy Studios characters, and I'm going to do it this way because I'm going to end up adding more characters in here in this particular project, and I'm going to delete a bunch of the crap we're doing right now. So I'm going to grab my town character, I'm going to drag him into my new folder, and copy here, select him, hit F2, we're going to say sk_polygon, or learn how to type polygon, and we need to make sure that we're in a retarget manager. It's set to humanoid, and that's it. We're going to save that. We're going to come back to it in a minute, but let's close that. We're going to come back to player in just a minute. Let's go to our characters again, and I'm going to grab all of my guys here, right click, and you've seen me do this 1,000 times. It's not rocket science. Assign skeleton, select polygon, SK polygon, and OK. And just do that once for each time you got a new character there. Just keep doing it until it stops doing it. When you're finished and you click OK, except on the last one, it won't pop up again. So you'll know when you're done, I promise. It's fun as doing something that has like 40 characters in it. So now if we hit save all, go back to our actual mesh folder that we created, SK polygon. Now we need to select the character we want for our default, and father1, apply to asset. We now have a default character. We hit save and close. Now we go back to our UE4 mannequin skeleton mesh and do our usual. Come into here, select humanoid rig, arms, upper arm up 50, lower arm down 10, back 20, hand up 10. Same thing, upper arm up 50, lower arm down 10, back 20, hand up 10, modify pose, use current pose, save, close. Yes, very, very monotonous. And instead of doing unarmed, well, yeah, instead of doing an unarmed animation blueprint versus armed and rifle and pistol and everything else, I'm going to do things a little bit differently here. For now, I'm going to go into my animations folder for my mannequin. I'm going to right click on third person animation blueprint, select duplicate animation blueprints, blah 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 blah, select the character. I'm going to type in here in the replace block, third underscore, I'm sorry, there's no underscore, person underscore now. So third person underscore, and replace that with polygon underscore. And then I'm going to hit the change button right here. I'm going to select the folder that I want it to go to, which is my character and animations folder. Click OK, and then click retarget, and now we're done. Save all, go back to our player base. We can go to our viewport, our mesh, and let's go to father1. Yeah, that's fine. Animation class. Now we go to Polygon Animation Blueprint. Compile and save. I know we have this lovely hat for a camera here. So even though it's going to work normal, I'm going to go ahead and click here, uncheck real time, Click here to rotate, drag a little bit in the map so that I can do this, rotate it 90, and then rotate it 90, and then I need to completely reposition the damn thing because now it's offset to one eye. So I want to center it up, I want to move it up and move it forward, and that should fix that camera good enough. Compile and save, go to our event graph. Now we can't use this because that material is going to be different, and if I leave that in there it's just going to look like shit. So let's let it look like shit. Here's our dude, we get hit by the fan, it teleports us, and then we're, yeah, okay, Skippy, you might like that because dude, you're awesome. Check that shit out. Hey, he's got dark skin with red eyes, red shirt. It's totally not going to work, but kind of cool, right? So we know that our mesh, our meh, is using Polygon Town /materials/ mat Polygon Town 01A. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use that same thing, and we only have an element 0. So I'm going to get rid of element 1, and I am going to, I figured you like that, the red eye look. Here's our Polygon Town 01A. We're going to change this to 01B and see what happens here. Since we have so many to look at. Bink. Alright. What's different? Look at it again. Green outer shirt, kind of a tan. You got tan pants on, a gray shirt, red beard, brown shoes. And look, his beard and hair change colors. So let's go back in here and let's change that again. Instead of 01A, B, C, let's go to 02A. And yeah. You can see we got the light brown, totally different shirt, but and pants by color. Cool. Useless, but kind of cool. So yeah, there's things you can do with that. You could, instead of it being the material you're changing, let's actually delete it and let's look at our characters. We can be father. We can get, when we die, we get a sex change operation. That sounds good, right? I want to be a schoolgirl. Yay! So this is one of the things that I love doing with these assets. Is actually when you die, you can turn into a skeleton. So you've got a skeleton like from the Pirates pack or one from the Dungeon pack or whatever. You can do that. Set skeletal mesh. So you do that. So you set skeletal mesh whenever you in your death sequence. So when you actually die, you can change your skeletal mesh over from whatever character you currently are to the actual skeleton. So now you're running around, you get killed, you respawn, you're a skeleton. That can have a pretty good implications there. Yay! I just had a sex change and reverse aging. So you don't have to do that off of death. You can do the same thing and just break that. Do keyboard G. Use G a lot because it's close and it's easy and that kind of stuff. And we can do this on a flip-flop. So now, whenever we press the key the first time, we're going to become a schoolgirl. When we hit it again, second time, Control C, Control V. I don't know why I must tell you that I'm Control C and Control V, but I feel the need to. I'm compelled. May the power of B-Flow compel you. Go back to Father 1. So, what could you do with something like this? You're running around and you want to become a spy and you want to change your form. I'm not that guy. I'm just a pretty little schoolgirl. Oh, yeah, I am that guy. Or am I that girl? Or that guy? Or that girl? Or that guy? Change shirt, too, so gotta change characters. So that's just proof. You can just actually just use it to... Uh-oh, now I come over here and I get killed, and... yeah, I took that off. No, it is not. Let's get rid of that guy. So if I come in here and show you on that, let's do 2 players, new editor window. You can see both of us are the same guy. Just going to resize the windows. And there, resize the window. I didn't want to do that. So it is not going to replicate. So this is the server. Server's going to come over here. You can see it moving around on the screen. I'm going to hit G and change into a girl, but it doesn't show up. So now let's go over here. I am the client. Yay. And if I hit it and change, the server doesn't see what the client's doing. The client doesn't see what the girl's doing. So if that's what you want me to do, is show an attempt to do replication on this, so that we can actually take this very simple thing right here of turning myself from a guy to a girl. Very simple. Is that what you want to see? You want to see me squirm and suffer and see me suffer doing yes, the ghost is a good one also, but I like the skeleton. It's my preference. But alright, so I'm going to ask you this. I can do it. It'll take me a few minutes to actually do it, but I can do this in multiplayer replication. But what would you think would be the first thing we need to do here in order to make this replicate? What needs to happen for replication? You were doing my basic tutorial on multiplayer replication on animation, so that should be easy for you, right? Alright, so we can pretty much forget about the way it is right here. So let's start off with a custom event. And let's do change character. Yeah and no, not necessarily. You need custom events, lots of them. So your actual thing here is, this is your custom event. We need to go ahead and multicast that and set it to reliable. So when we hit to change character, let's actually change the name of this, because we're going to have multiples, because we need to make sure that we're telling the client's telling the server that we need to be a woman. So I'm just going to go ahead and yeah, I'm just get rid of all this right here, because that's not going to work. And we're actually going to change this to, we could probably still run it off of a flip-flop. Compile and save, but let's break it down and let's just convert to a female and not worry about converting back just yet. So we're going to change our character, and that's going to be a multicast event, and we're going to run this right here, change character. So we're going to run that multicast event right here off of pressing G. So we're going to G to turn to a girl. That makes sense, right? So now on our change character multicast event, what we're going to actually do is we need the next 2 custom events. In we're going to do custom event, client wants sex change. Nah, we're gonna change that. Client change character. Okay, so we're gonna need that one. And we're going to need another one, which is a custom event called server change character. It's going to work better if you do custom events. It's about the only way I can think of doing it. So when we're telling the server to change characters, let's go ahead and compile and save. And the first thing we need to do here on this is we need to God, dyslexia just screws me up. God, I love dyslexia. We're going to need to run switch has authority, and then from authority client change character. Okay, so we're just saying how these events are going to take place, but we need to make sure that this is replicated, run on the server, and this is going to be a reliable thing because we need this to actually show up. So same thing here, we want it run on server and reliable because this is going to be a reliable thing here. So now we've got these two things going on right here, and client change character is now what we're going to be doing is trying to run this to do get a reference to our mesh, and I'm probably going to have to change this to make sure I get it right. So we want to set skeletal mesh, and you'd have to do this to turn into a girl and then do it again to turn into a guy. So we're going to go ahead and go to schoolgirl. So that's that. Compile and save. So change character. Now we've got to run server change character. So here's what we got. The client says he wants to change his skeletal mesh to become a girl. He wants a sex change. He wants a true gender here. So for the client wanting to do this, we have to allow, or switch has authority for the client to change the character. So the server will acknowledge the client wanting to change characters. So when we actually change character, we're going to operate by saying server change character. Okay, that's multicast and reliable. That is run on server reliable, run on server reliable. And now when we actually hit G, we're actually going to change character and run this custom event, which is the multicast one. So let's see what happens. It doesn't make sense while it makes sense. Does that make sense? That it makes sense by not making sense? It seems like a bunch of damn gibberish if you ask me, but it's what you got to do to get the job done. Then you got to do what you got to do, right? I should always go back and just do abbreviated short videos. So server hit G, becomes a girl, client doesn't see it. Client presses G, the server sees it, but the client doesn't. So, and the client did not change. So we've got a mistake in here somewhere. So we've got, like I said, this is where dyslexia causes me to have to work double on this, because I'm like, okay, was this supposed to run off of here, or is it supposed to run off of there? So server, run on server, switches authority, client change, blah, 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 blah. Multicast there, server change character, and there. Let's actually drop these off and actually run this from here. I might need to run it off, but the server saw it, but the client didn't. I just need to fix one little aspect of it here and confirm that what I'm doing is doing it right. So the client just did it. I'm the server right here, and I just did it, but the client is not seeing it. So you have to think about it like this. The server sees it working correctly, so that's good. That goes there, and we were running off of G, change character, and here's where it could break or work. This may not need to be multicast. It might just need to run on server. So you really have to take it with a grain of salt and think about what you're doing. So okay, this rescaling crap gets in the way here. So the client's going to come over here, and I'm going to hit G, and the client does not see it. He doesn't see himself, but we see him as the server, as the girl. If the server does it, server changes, client's not seeing jack squat. So somewhere or another, I've got this shit backwards. That's why I love dyslexia. It's so much fun. Server change character is run on server, run on server, run on server. You would think that would need to be multicast. Now you see what I go through whenever I'm setting up this crap. Client change character says to set skeletal mesh. You can see it's setting the skeletal mesh. It's doing it just fine. Because it's now pulling this over here to server. The server sees it, just the client's not seeing it. Because change character, then you run hit G and you run change character. This, I swear, it should be multicast. Multicast event. So change character should be multicast, and it's saying to server change the character. The server is then saying switch as authority for the client to change characters, and the client needs to say I'm changing my character. So, and here's where it could be absolute shit here. Normally, this is where I would actually put the variable. You know, you could always drag off from there, promote the variable, and call this our mesh thing or reference. So we get a reference to our mesh, and now I can just take that and delete and this, and it's set up for a skeletal mesh. And if we come over here and set skeletal mesh, but what are we setting our skeletal mesh to? Then we would need another variable that would actually be that, or get a reference to, or so that should have worked the way that I had it. Of set skeletal mesh, get the ref mesh, the ref mesh mush mouth, get the mesh reference, and change it to scroll girl. It works. So I just have to go back through and review how I'm doing these. They shouldn't need to be. The only one that should be multicast is that one right there. And they're all set to reliable, and that should be fine. Realistically, you could probably even come in and add in, like, so normally I would run it off of here. And you have to run a lot of this stuff for the health stuff too, the health check. You got to replicate some of that too. So that hotel project, I went through all this stuff for the replication and got it right. It took me a little while to get some of it right and screw around with it, but I got it right, and then try to redo it without the proper levels of caffeine, and I screw up. Just realized I'm using my Smith & Wesson M&P cup, and I'm wearing a Smith & Wesson M&P shirt. Yeah, I'm not a Smith & Wesson fanboy, by the way. I love Smith & Wesson revolvers. I'm not as big a fan on the M&P pistols, although they are pretty good, especially when you get them tuned up right. All right, coffee are completed. Yeah, actually cheat just a little bit because I know the hotel sample was working correctly. And Skippy, again, I blame you. Even if it's not your fault, I'm still going to blame you for everything tonight. Let's see here. So if we look at our character here, no, not here, here, and go to our blueprints, go to our player base. Now, oh God, yeah, that's my character so far. And was right in the middle of trying to set up the shooting system. Client fire weapon, stop firing, and I'm almost done setting up this stuff right here for shooting. I've got to revamp it a little bit, but I'm getting close. But what I've done here, like for the death animation sequence, is I'm using a reference here because that reference actually goes to the animation blueprint and actually calls for the animations to be able to be played. So yes, you will be able to shoot in the hotel really soon. I've got some issues with the can shoot. If it's true, then set can shoot defaults. Have a delay in your shooting. I was trying to slow down the rate of fire so you can't just spam shoot, and that's just not working. So I'm just going to remove that for right now. Connect the line trace back up and go from here, and let's go ahead and compost and save. Take a look. Granite, a grenade. Are you talking about a grenade? That would be the same kind of thing right there. So let's actually go in here and go to the map, library map. So if you're talking about like a hand grenade, yeah, I'll look at that here in just a second. So we got our bots, we hit play, and we go into our first person view, and we have a crosshair, and we can shoot our gun. And we just killed the crap out of our bots, but we need to run before they respawn. You hit V, you can and you'll no longer be able to shoot. So I do need to go back in here, and I knew there was a reason why I had the branch and the can shoot. So we do want to put that in here for a branch and can shoot. So now, yeah, with the view change thing was set up so that you cannot shoot until you're in the first person view. Don't you run away from me when I'm shooting you. So you can shoot them, kill them, they fall over dead. Oh, and by the way, Skippy, you can still slap while you're zoomed in. Because the right click is now set for slapping. So you can still slap, and I still haven't done the animation fix on the slapping yet. It needs to be tuned. So you do the animation. I haven't done the blend on the animation just yet. You want to follow me? Yeah, I got something for that ass. So you can actually shoot them, they fall over dead, and then they respawn. Whenever I get done with it, you'll actually be able to, it'll be replicated, so that'll be my first shooting system working and all that. So let's actually dump that project, and I'm actually going to come back to this part later. I need to review my dyslexia. So, grenade systems, save all, save that, go back in here, change it to 1, and select a viewport. So we got our Cinti character again, and everything is good. G is disabled, so we're back to just being a guy. Got a light over here, still works, didn't take it out. So a grenade is just a projectile. I don't have the, which, give me just a minute and I will add in, actually no, instead of messing with this project, give me a minute and I'll change projects to one that already has the or I could just create a new one, just short term. FPS series was in the first person. I don't like first person perspective, so give me just a second. So for people who have my simple multiplayer Steam template, I'm going to show again the process of creating a project. With it, I'm going to right click and I'm going to select clone, and I'm going to call this shooter underscore demo, and I'm just going to hit browse. I'm going to make sure that I'm in the correct Unreal Projects folder, hit select, hit create, and then continue. So we wait for it now to actually create that in here. It'll take a couple seconds, and as soon as it's done, you'll see it pop up and we'll have an extra project to work with. But before I go into that project, there's one thing that I want to do, and there we go, shooter demo. I use clone because I don't want to edit and mess with my original. This stays the way it is. I never edit in my original. So I'm making a new shooter demo project. Alright, before I go into it, the first thing that I want to do is I want to go into the folder where it's located. And for me, that's in Unreal Projects. And I look for it in here. It usually won't show up until I go in here and find it. Good old Windows 7. Now I can open it up here. I can see that I have a saved folder. I'm going to delete the saved folder. Everything else stays exactly the way it is. So that's fine. Now I'm actually going to go ahead and, before I even go into that project, I'm going to go ahead and add in from my locations the Battle Royale pack, and that's so we can have, you know, the basics in here, grenades, guns, things of that nature. So I'm just gonna, the way I've got mine sorted for faster is I just right click, I drag it into my content folder and copy here. It'll take just a minute. It's 120 megabytes. So the reason why I do that is I've got projects that I've modified internal parts of, so that, and I've got them all situated to where I can actually just copy them right into a project instead of doing it the normal way where you scroll down and have them in your vault cache. I do it a little bit different way just because. So now I can go into my shooter demo, and I'm just move this back off screen. It'll take just a few minutes to go in. By doing it manually this way, then it's usually faster for my first launch. You will have the to load all the filters and, you know, the shaders and that kind of stuff. But by doing this with my simple multiplayer Steam template, whenever I go over here, standalone, and it'll pop up here and it'll load like it's pretending to load the real game but in a window, is because I now have the ability to make this a multiplayer game. Because in my lobby you can either host or join games. If you want to find one already hosted, you can wait here, or you can click on find lobby. It'll refresh, see if there's a game available. or you can actually host your own version, type in your name, and click make, and hey, we're in a multiplayer game. So that's when you can hit the escape key, or you can hit resume game. If you want to change your view, hit the V key, and this is just the very basics. Okay. You can hit escape, go back to the main menu, and then select single player, multiplayer, exit game, and use the Steam architecture. So you can see my Steam username and avatar right there. That's a $20 thing right there that I sell. So I'm not going to worry about changing the characters right now, because we know that we just want to look at the idea of grenades. So if I look at weapons and the City Studios asset pack, I can see that I have a grenade right there. I could have just used a generic ball and made a little cheap, cheesy one, but we're going to use this grenade as a projectile. So I'm going to come over here to my assets, and I'm going to create a folder in here called Gadgets. Go into that. I'm going to right click and make a new blueprint, actor. We're going to call this frag nade, whatever. Frag-a-doodle-doo. You can call it whatever the hell you want to call it. If you're a frag grenade, smoke grenade, that would be cool too. Both of them have their own challenges for making the explosion or making the smoke happen. Thankfully, now if you do have Polygon Battle Royale, I'm going to use an effect that comes with it, but it does have, and this is something for everybody to know, if you're using the Battle Royale pack, which I suggest if you're doing a shooter, you're going to want this asset pack. You go into the folder for particle effects, go into explosion. I've already talked to him about fixing this. I don't know if it's been fixed yet or not, but you go in here, and what's going to happen is it's going to be stuck in an infinite loop, and it's going to suck donkey nuts. You see you've got the emitters, FX fire, smoke, and rubble. Click on the yellow bar for required. Scroll down over here. Duration, you'll see emitter loops. It's set to 0. You're going to need to change that to 1. And then you need to hit the save button. Trust me. Change that to 1. Click save. Then click on the middle ones required. Click 1 here. Click there in emitter loops. Change it to 1. Click save. You have to mainly do this for all 3 of them. Click on required. Change it to 1. And hit save. If you just go to this one, change it to 1, go to this one, change it to 1, go to this one, change it to 1, it forgets all of them. So it won't work. You have to do it this way. Click on required for the first one, change emitter loops to 1, hit save. Then go to the FX smoke, change emitter loops to 1, save. Make sure you follow that same process. And again, FX rubble, required, emitter loops, change to 1, hit save. Otherwise, it'll get stuck in an infinite loop, and it will suck, and you will hate it. You'll be mad. You won't know what's going on. Yeah. So I'm going to select my grenade now on my frag-nade blueprint. I'm going to add component, skeletal mesh, and I'm just going to rename that to grenade. You see, got a cool little grenade there. And now I'm going to add in another component. I'm clicking off and then add component, and is going to be projectile movement. Not erectile dysfunction, but projectile movement. 2 totally different things. Well, if you have the other one, then there is no movement. So unless you're trying to do the helicopter, but that's totally different ball game here. Totally different kind of games. Yes, I'm an old, disgusting, perverted fart, so shut up. Deal with it. You're the idiots watching my channel, not me. So yeah, projectile movement. And initial speed, let's put it at 500, and max speed 500. We'll see if that works here in just a moment. Compile and save. And let's go into this. Actually, let's change maps to our, let's make a new map. File, new level. VR Basic, and I'm going to go ahead and play with my ball. I mean, select ball, shift left click on that bottom cube, control left click on the pyramid, and dump those. And now I'm going to change this back to 1 and selected viewport. And remember that I'm a complete and utter moron because I didn't select game mode override to third person game mode and then do that, and now I could walk around. Thank you. So hit escape and save all. So the map works. I'm good. And we're going to save this in our maps folder called our test map. Lovely. We're good to go. So now if we actually go back into our gadgets folder and grab our frag grenade, and let's pick that sucker up and hit play. Can't hardly see it because let's grab our player start, and I'm going to go ahead and shove his ass in the corner, and let's grab our grenade and let's drag it over here so it's right in front of us. So when we hit play, it just went in front of us. I don't know if you saw it, but it ran, or it didn't run. It flew over to right here and just fell down. So that's a good start. We just want it to be there. We want to get it moving and doing things. So projectile movement. Okay, so let's look at a grenade again. Let's make sure that we have our collisions. It's set to no collision. So let's go ahead and do this to block all. Compile and save. And may or may not need to do simulate physics. We will play around with one thing at a time. And it is still going through the ground. So let's select our grenade, go to our details. Yeah, so let's review what we got inside here. So in the actual thing here, we have set it to be owner, block all, simulate. No, we don't need that. Let's go to our projectile movement. Scroll up and let's go down through the things here. Parent socket, nothing. Initial speed, fine. Rotation, we're not worried about that. Gravity, we're okay with for now. Should bounce, yes. So let's try that. We want it to bounce. We don't want it to fall through the world. And it's still falling through the world. It's just out of our view when we first start. So I'm actually going to move it back just a little bit more and see if we can get a better view. And that's actually a worse view. It's right there. Yeah, I know it's kind of hard to see, but it went off in this direction right over here. You know what? I can do this, and for now, let's make it just a hair bigger. I'll size it back down to its normal size here after we get it working a little bit better. You can see it just falls and goes right into the ground. So we don't want that. We want to go back to our projectile movement. It's not a homing projectile. I've never messed with that, but that sounds fun. It also sounds confusing as crap too. But bounciness, component replicates. We're gonna need to have that on for later. Collision. No, that's not going to do anything. Yeah, so we got that. That should be fine. Grenade for the actual mesh. Let's try simulating physics. Some of these settings will actually break things. There we go. It fell. We're going to need to increase the velocity and stuff like that too. So, oh shit, it's rolling around. Oh no, it's going to blow up. So let's go ahead and increase our projectile movements. We'll attach it and throw from the player in just a moment here. So we just want to get it working. Let's go to 1,000 on our initial and max speed. Compile and save, because we're only going to have one throw speed for right now. That's pretty damn pathetic. What is our mass? We haven't set any mass. Linear dampening, enable gravity. Yeah, that's fine. Let's just go ahead and set our velocities up a little bit. I wanted to keep it kind of low. If we run it at 2,000, keep playing with the velocity and have to think about it is, yeah, that's terrible. That's one of them there girl throws. Yeah, that's just simulating physics. It's not even throwing. Because doing it that way is actually negating the actual validity of the projectile movement. Oh, it's actually, you can't really attach that to the grenade. It's a blanket thing here. So probably going to need to do uncheck that. Enable gravity. We want it to have physics. We don't want it to fall through the world. Oh, that's not good. So we want it to have gravity. But if we uncheck select physics or simulate physics there, then what's going to happen is when we do this, it just falls through the world. And we don't want it to fall through the world. And our speed is way too fast. So that's good. And it's just that we now have to figure out how we're going to get it to keep from falling through the world. And you would think that it would be in grenade here. It's been a while since I've done a hand grenade system. Default's not going to help. Grenade itself. We've got it set for collision to block all. Let's might have to go to custom and collision response. Object response world should be block. Trace response. We may end up having to run a trace on there. I have collision enabled, but I want to do a block all, and I don't want to have to worry about doing those settings. Bullets are so much easier than grenades because it doesn't matter if they fall through the world, but you still want them to create a some form of contacting. And what I usually do is I actually just do a you see it's falling through the world there, and we don't want it to fall through the world. Yeah, you would have to show and set up one thing. Simulate physics. Because I mean, if I do that, then it's just going to drop straight down, and we don't want it to drop straight down. We want it to still have the projectile movement, and it's not doing that if we simulate physics, which then now it'll fall right through the world. Holy shit. Yeah, I did this a while back and created a smoke grenade system where when you throw it, it has a slight delay, and then okay, This may or may not help anything. It would bounce. Custom world static, yeah, you would think so. Collide with environment was checked, but that's clothing. Let's run that. Custom world dynamic is set. It's blocked all on here. But if I just leave it like that, what will happen here? Falls to the world. It's set to block on everything. Fell to the world. So, custom, it's set to custom world static. Everything is set to block. You want to overlap on everything. Destructible vehicle, physics body, pawn, world dynamic. Yeah, I mean that didn't affect anything. Collision is enabled. Instead, if I check overlap all, I don't really want it to be that, but simulation for collision should be a yes thing. You see, I mean, that just falls right through the world, and I had it set for block all. Let's try block all dynamic, but it should just block. And if I hit this to close this back up, if I turn that on, it still falls through. Let's try that with custom and world static. Alright, so that's something that you see, I sit there and figure that crap out. Because grenade actually keeps falling through the world. Come back to that here in just a minute. We need to know that that is our projectile. I'm going to leave it large like this for now, just so we can see it. I don't have an animation. We'll simulate physics. I'll try anything you want me to. Here's simulation. It's world static. Simulate physics. Whenever I turn that on, what will happen is it will just fall straight down. We lose all of our movement. Nice spin there. But we don't have any projectile movement at that time. We lose our projectile movement. Interesting spinning there. So, yeah, I mean, we lose all of our projectile movement. I mean, I've got on should bounce. I'll uncheck that. Auto activate's fine. We don't want to constrain it to a plane. I'm not going to mess with velocity right now. Force substepping, I really never messed with, but essentially what that's asking is should it continue to bounce, and whatever it bounces each time, how much extra physics is applied to make it bounce less each time. And yeah, you can get really carried away with that. So you can see that it's just dropping straight down. Go back in here and uncheck simulate physics, and then go back into it. We have our movement. It flies. One thing I didn't check, but it should not matter, is I go in here to the weapons, go into the grenade. Let's actually look at the skeleton. It's a skeletal mesh, but maybe it doesn't have collision enabled on the actual mesh. I didn't make the mesh. So you have the clip and the pin. So that, I mean, that's something that you could probably break it and set those invisible if you wanted to really get crazy with it. Light. Oh hell. That's rendering. Yeah, it's not going to show up in here. Well, something. You got physics asset, and you've got the actual grenade. All right. So for now, let's try something a little bit different. I will come back to that. I don't know if it's maybe that's the problem is the mesh. Let's go back to gadgets, and I'm going to go ahead and create a new one, which is a blueprint, actor, nade. Come in here, get up there, add a component of a sphere. We're going to leave it large for now, and we're going to add a projectile movement. Before we add a projectile movement in there, let's compile and save. We want to ensure that we have something also that's going to fall into the world. We're going to go ahead and put that in front of us. It should not fall because I haven't set the physics to it. So there's our bullet, or our grenade. We want to go ahead and simulate physics. So now if we go in here and hit play, bink, it falls down. So here's where we need to test in. If we add a component of projectile movement and set our velocities just to 1,000, it'll get it cooking a little bit. And still just drop straight down. So now if we come back in here, unsimulate physics, what happens? It launches, but then falls right through the damn world. Falls all the way over to here. So maybe I just suck. I'm just getting tired and I can't think straight. I've created grenades before. Essentially, I need to block all dynamic. Events fire whenever it collides during physics animation. That should not do anything for it. Yeah, still falls through. I'm going to look that up again, and I'll actually stream back again here shortly. I need to take a break. This has been 2 hours and 10 minutes. I will figure that part out. I don't remember what the hell I'm doing on that one. I'm obviously making that mistake. So let's go ahead and just dump that. We'll go back to this. We'll actually get the thing to actually do something. So for now, with our nade, I'm going to select it. I am going to go ahead and simulate physics. It will drop down and just hit the ground. I will get the projectile movement going again, and Alright, so we hit play, it's there. If I throw it in the air, hit play, falls down, there you go. So the effects wise, what we want to do here is whenever we begin play is what we want to do with it, because whenever we throw the grenade, it's just spawn actor from class. You're spawning it and it's using the movement to actually go where it's going to go, and then yeah, it's going to use gravity and physics and everything else, and then when it bounces across the ground, we want to go ahead and give it a timer. So event on begin play, we want to really start off with a delay, and grenades between 3 and 5 seconds. So let's give it a, for right now, just a 5-second delay. And what we're going to do once we hit that 5-second delay is we are going to spawn emitter at location. So where we want to get our location, we just get a reference to our grenade, and we will go ahead and get world location, pop that in there, and we want to use our explosion, and well, we don't need to worry about scale or anything else. So we're going to get a reference to our grenade. So wherever the grenade is after 5 seconds is going to give us that explosion. I don't have a sound file to play with it, but let's show you that. Okay, good. So after we do that, we would then want to destroy actor so that we get rid of the body of the grenade. So compile and save, and then at the end of its timer, boom, gone, and that's it. So therefore, at that point, you want to apply damage. Then we'd have to go back through and do our full damage systems again, and I will be setting that up in this project. Yeah, see, this is the easy part. I just have to go back through and fix the collision of the grenade and get it working correctly with the projectile movement and that stuff. So we destroy our actor, then we're going to apply radial damage, and this is where it gets fun. We're going to apply that in the origin from our location of our grenade. Base damage is, we'll say, 100. Damage radius is 1,000. You can adjust the size however you want to. Ignore actors if you want to ignore. Damage causer, it should be the self. Damage prevention channel, yeah, you can set it to do full damage in the whole thing, but yeah, so let's have it apply radial damage. We haven't set up anything on our character right now for true health system, but so I don't even know if this is going to work or not. What are we missing on there? And it's saying that something is wrong with that. Apply radial damage. So damage causer, we've destroyed the actor, and that's not going to link up to there. That we don't have to worry about. Instigated by controller. Controller that was responsible for causing the damage, or this damage, the player who threw it. So let's get player controller. Get a reference to that in here. So that was instigated by controller is there. Damage causer, not sure. Let's see what that's going to do here. Boom, explosion. And still don't like it. What else don't you like, you son of a bitch? Apply radial damage. You got the base damage, the radius, the origin, damage type class. Never had to set that before. Ignored actors. Damage causer. And I've seen this problem pop up before. Actor that actually caused the damage. Well, that's self, you know. Apply radial damage. That's the... And I'm sure you can't get reference to self. I know you can't be that easy. So let's try that again. So you want to throw some more errors? Yes, you do. You want to throw more errors because you don't like that. Okay, so let's actually take the destroy actor, pull that out of there because it doesn't like it because it's pending the kill function and it's already gone. So let's destroy actor after applying the damage. So compost, save. Is that still gonna make you angry? Have I angered the grenade gods? So hit escape. No errors. Alright, so let's go get our character and let's go to our blueprint, player base, and get your ass up there. And let's go ahead and do event any damage, and let's grab our health, get health, and we want to drag off from here, subtract, so it's float minus float, connect the bottom pin to the damage, so there, and let's go ahead and set our health to our current health after we subtract damage. Alright, so let's see if that actually kills us. Wait, what's this thing? Holy hand grenade? Oh, yep. But see, it didn't kill us all the way because we weren't standing on top of it. So, let's see if we get a little bit closer to the grenade. What happens now? Oh, shit, we just kicked it. Come back here, come back here. Oh, see, we still got some damage. I didn't mean to kick the damn thing. So we're closer to it. See how much damage we get. Oh, pretty good amount of damage. So we've just applied radial damage with a grenade. So I just need to fix the grenade and the movement stuff. And if you're setting it up on your player, let's keyboard G. How about that? G for grenade. G. Don't I always use G? How about that? Let's actually add a component of a scene. Lovely. And let's go ahead and grab that scene location, and we want to put it right there is good enough. Compost and save. You and your damn replication, boy. Let me get the damn thing working first before I worry about replicating shit. Gotta fix the damn hand grenade first, and then we'll worry about replicating shit. One stinking problem at a time. So this right here, the scene, this location, this is where we're gonna spawn actor from class, and we want to do that as frag grenade is the actor we're going to spawn. Okay, we're going to get a reference to our scene. We're going to make a scene, damn it. And get from our transform here, we're going to make transform, so we can split that bastard up. Get over there. Get out my damn way. And then we get over here. We want to get world transform. or instead of getting world transform, we could actually and just plugged it in there. So yeah, that's actually probably a good idea. Get world transform. And we don't necessarily need the spawn transform if we plug that into here. So yeah, this is going to be spawning the grenade projectile from there. So once the projectile movement is fixed and it's throwing it out and then bouncing on the ground and crap like that, then we're almost done. The spawn actor frag grenade from there. There's more that's going to have to be done, but as we can see, and bang, almost killed us. Now if we hit G, it spawns a grenade. Uh-oh, it's going to spawn it right there, and boom, we're dead. So now once the projectile stuff is actually finished, now we could actually drop a grenade and kick it. There you go. Play soccer and have a time-lapsed explosive soccer ball. Blink. That adds a whole new degree of fun, even though I haven't fixed the grenade or spawning yet. Once I get the actual throw correct, and I can do the throw, that's not a problem. But what's happening is in our frag grenade and our grenade, I've just got to screw around with these settings right here to make it not fall through the world. And I can actually uncheck simulate physics, compile and save. Now if I go back in here and whenever I hit G, it will actually spawn a grenade. Of course it falls to the world and it's kind of slow, but pow, we can throw a grenade. So we can spawn them all day long and throw grenades. I just got to tweak that around so that it actually isn't falling through the world. But we have a delay on it of 5 seconds, and then they explode. So we know that part works. It's just a matter of fixing what's causing this damn thing to fall through the world and fix that. So we know that the actual grenade works. We know that the throwing actually works. It's just I need to go back and tweak this right here. And I will do that, and I will do an update video. But just the same with that. And actually I'm going to go back into the frag grenade and where the hell did I put it? Gadgets. And we know it works. For now I'm going to go ahead and select the grenade and simulate physics. Go back to compile and save. And now the throwing is not going to work because of the way I've got physics set up. But I want to show you the same basic process for this guy. Let's go ahead and take that, and I'm going to go ahead and right click, and I'm going to duplicate it and smoke nade. Same thing. I'm going to open it up. Since I've already created the full hand grenade system, I'm going to go back in here. 1 second, and go to weapons, and I believe there was a smoke grenade in here somewhere. If not, then I'll just use something as the projectile. Grenade launcher. Yeah, right here, smoke grenade. Go in here, and I'm going to change the grenade to this model. So now we have a smoke grenade. Go to event graph, compile, save, and all we're doing is on event begin play. On event begin play, we're setting a delay of 5 seconds. For now, I'll change that to 3. And after 3 seconds, we're getting a reference to our grenade location. Get world location. We're plugging that into the explosion template. And then we're applying radial damage. Base damage is 100. I can tweak that up. I can tweak up the blast radius, make it as big or as small as I want. And the radius means that if you're closer to it, you're going to get more damage. If you're farther away, you're going to take less damage. The origin, we're pulling from our grenade world location. Damage causer is getting reference to ourself. Instigated controller is get player controller. and then we run a destroy actor. So in this case right here, I'm actually going to change the FX explosion to FX smoke, and we're going to compost and save. The projectile movement is good, but it's something in here for setting up the physics and whatever, so it doesn't fall to the world. May end up having to look at some alternate methods, but where we got our grenade that pops into the map here, I'm going to do the same thing really quickly with the new one we just made. Is the smoke grenade. I'm going to drop it into the map and throw it up in the air, pretend that it just got launched, and here in 3 seconds we generate smoke. You can scale the smoke up, you can use a different emitter for the smoke, whatever, but once I get the collision portion of it. One thing I need to undo is, look, I just took a shitload of damage there, then a grenade went off and killed my ass, because I still have apply radial damage. So this is a smoke grenade, it shouldn't have damage, right? Well, if you don't want it to have damage, don't put the damage in there. If you want it to be like a poison gas grenade, you could come up with your own emitter that looks like green smoke or whatever, and then you got the same apply radial damage, but you could set this up to where it could pulse for a little while and then remove the smoke, and yeah, there's so many things you can do with a smoke grenade. Oh, I haven't fixed the error of the throwing yet. For right now, all I've got it doing is just falling to the ground and doing its thing. I've got to actually go through and, like I say, this is a smoke grenade. It doesn't do any damage now. It just creates smoke. The other grenade, it blows up and does damage. But you notice the grenade is actually gone here, but the smoke is not. So you would have to come back into your smoke grenade and I wonder, I've never tried that before, or how to actually stop it, because your emitter actually will continue to play. Remove, that's item. Yeah, I'll screw around with the smoke grenade, but I need to get the projectile system working correctly. Shit, I don't know. Destroy component, and let's try delay of 10 seconds. Compile and save. That's actually destroying the component of the emitter. I don't know if that works or not. Shit, I don't know. I make shit up as I go along, whether it's good or bad, I don't know. So technically after 10 seconds, if I did that right, the smoke should stop. Keep sitting back out of frame there. Yep, that didn't work. Again, but shit. Whenever I don't know how to do something, I make shit up until it actually works. Emitter name. I don't see that working. But yeah, I've done the hand grenade before. I need to go back through one of my old projects where I've actually done the grenades and figure out how to get the damn thing to quit actually going through the world and sitting on the world, so that it'll actually react, and once it get it to actually not fall through the world, then everything else will be just dandy. But let me actually take a break for a little bit, and let's see here. Smoke as a continual. Set up to do sparks. Could actually set it up to do any of the ones that I've got. You want to make a fire grenade? Okay, let's do that. Yay! It spawns fire. You can set up a box collision to where it actually does damage, or you can set up that kind of stuff all you want to. But yeah, I'm going to leave it at smoke, and I'll come back to it and revisit it, and see if I can come up with a good way of removing the emitter. But that is the basics of the grenade, though. Is just that you've got the actual mesh itself, the projectile movement component, and then inside there, on event begin play, you set your duration of how long you want your timer before it actually explodes, and then you get a reference to your grenade, get world location, spawn emitter at location, the emitter of your explosion. You want to apply radial damage, get your origin from your grenade's world location. The base damage is the amount of damage you want to do to the player total, and the damage radius is how big of a radius in Unreal units that you want to affect players to cause damage. The damage causer is self. Instigated controller is player controller. Just because you're the one that threw the grenade, then destroy actor is going to remove the grenade body itself from the map. And on your player, what you're going to want to do is set up a key for spawning the grenade. You want to add a scene component, which is what I did. So I added a scene component, which is just an invisible ball. I placed it in front of the character, and this is where the grenade will spawn. So whenever you hit the G button, it then spawns a grenade. The projectile movement automatically engages. The grenade goes across the screen, lands, bounces, detonates, does its thing. So now you get a reference to your scene component. Get world transform, spawn actor. You select the class, which is the name of your grenade or blueprint. You plug in the world transform to spawn transform, and there you go. So that you can actually get people to take damage from it. You don't need to simulate physics for the mesh. Just leave it as the root of your projectile blueprint. I'll go back and look at it, but you run the event any damage, and then you do that, and it allows you to do your health system for applying the damage to the character. What we're saying here, I've got the root there. I mean, I didn't do anything but just add the two items in there. Are you saying run the grenade body itself as the root instead of default scene root? So actually you just do that. The projectile movement takes over at that point. There it goes. That did it. So now if we do G, the grenade comes out, and there we go. So if I hit V to go to my first person view, you can see the grenades coming right out from the center. So all I did was I took the grenade body, pushed it up to the root. Oh shit, it just went through the world. Yeah, it's not 100%, but there you go. You would still probably want to go ahead and trigger this with an animation. So if you've got an animation for throwing a grenade, you'd want to then go back into your player. Go ahead and hit a save all. And let me do that the same thing with this guy. To grenade body and... No, wait a minute. That's the frag grenade still. I don't want to open up the smoke grenade. What I did was I took the grenade body and pushed it up on top of default scene route. It made it into the default scene route. And now that seemed to work. And hit save. And if I hit play, see now both of them actually get thrown instead of just drop straight down. So when I go into my first person view, I can throw grenades. You can increase the throw speed if you want to, like by going back into your frag grenade, go to your projectile movement, and let's take that up to 1500. Just a little bit faster. You don't want your grenades to be like super freaking ginormous. I mean, you don't want Superman arms here. That's actually pretty good. So, and it's actually just throwing it directly in front of you. I would probably actually, if you wanted to, you could take the player character, and where you've got your scene as just part of the thing here, you could actually attach it to, let's go to the viewport, attach it to the follow camera or the FPS camera. And let's see how that works here. So now it's coming out of your eyeballs essentially, but if we hit V for our viewport and spawn it there, now whenever you look up, you've got a crosshair, you can throw it up in the air. You would definitely want to set a variable for can throw grenades to limit the amount of grenades so you don't have spam. And set the number of grenades that you might have, because you don't want somebody doing that, spamming 600 freaking grenades. Because Skippy would damn sure do it. Alright, so that's it. There's your grenades. And it's bound to my first person camera, which is also bound off of my head. So when we look at my butt crack, I can, based off of, if I go into my first person view, whenever I do that, I can actually change my aim and I can throw the grenade based on where I'm looking. But you could still, as you're running around, spawn them. They're spawning out of your eyeballs. But what I would do probably is actually set up the scene component to be the same way. But I would actually it depends on how you want it to actually spawn. I like whenever you go into combat, it forces you into first person view, because now you can't do the usual third person cheat and pan around and look around walls and crap like that. If you're going to be in combat, you need to use your damn eyes. So now I can sit here and throw a grenade, throw a grenade, throw a grenade, and bang. So yeah, that works just fine. Set your projectile movement velocity. This is 1500. I think that looks pretty good. And now that I can actually aim and throw it, to make Skippy happy, what I'll do is I'll take a break for a little bit, and I will see if I can replicate the damage portion of it. Yeah, you would set up a series of variables in your player, like has grenades, and you know, like this right here. I created a component, has grenade, and we'll leave that as a boolean. Compile and save, and then we'll create another one, grenade count. You would do like a grenade pickup. So let's create this as an integer. Compile and save, and let's give the player 3 hand grenades, which, okay, seems rather acceptable to have 3 hand grenades. And what we want to do here is when we spawn after the grenade, we want to get a reference to our grenade count. And then we want to set grenade count at this point to that. And actually, you want to do this to that minus. So integer minus integer. Actually, break that. So we want to -1 every time we throw our grenades. And that sets our grenade count. And from here, I would say integer is less than or equal to 0, because in case some glitch happens and you have less than 0, I don't know how that would ever happen, but I'm still going to do it that way. You run a branch node off of that, and if grenade count is equal to or less than 0, based on what happens when we throw this grenade, then what we want to do is we want to set has grenades to unchecked, so it's false. So now let's go ahead and can throw grenade. Let's change that to a Boolean. Let's make this all kind of complicated as crap here. So let's run a delay after this of 2 seconds. So we can't throw a grenade but once every 2 seconds. And then we want to set can throw grenades to true. And same thing here. We want to set can throw grenade to false. So let's just shove that inside here. And actually, no, we can't do that because what we're doing here is now we have no grenades. So we'd want to do this somewhere else. So what I'm going to do here is this, and if we have no grenades, then we definitely need to make sure we set can throw grenade to false. So we can't accidentally keep throwing grenades one way or the other. So we'll run this off of false here. If we don't have 0, then we set can throw grenade to false, wait 2 seconds, set it to true, and then we come back over here and let's run a branch node. And we want to ask can throw grenades. And if we wanted to, we could complicate that even more and add in, let's move our event any damage. That's our explosion damage, or our damage taker or giver or whatever else. So can throw grenades. If it's true, then yes, we can throw a grenade. So we also want to ask branch of, for a true condition, we need to ask, do we have grenade? So if we has grenades and we can throw them, then we're going to throw them. Seems simple enough, right? So if I come over here, go to my viewport, hit G, I can't throw grenades. Why is it that way? Has grenades has never been set to true. So let's go ahead and set that to true when we begin play. And actually, no, let's don't do it there. Let's actually, on our begin play, let's go ahead and custom grenade at start. and set has grenades. Shit. Set has grenades to true. We're going to run this off of our event begin play, but we want to set grenades to true. And let's go ahead and set grenade count in here, and let's set that to 3 here. So has grenades is true, and we have 3 of them on begin play. So events begin play, starting stuff right here. Hell, I already got startup stuff, but whatever. We'll come over here to where the hell's my begin play? Right here. And I got those 2. I'm actually going to go ahead and get rid of all of that and just go ahead and put it in my startup stuff, because I've already got a custom event set up for when I begin play. So let's just run it from here. So we have grenades when we first start, and we have 3 of them. So go to my view, hit G, and we have no grenade. Holy shit. We have grenades, but when we hit G, we're checking if we have grenades, which should be true because we have them when we first start. Let's actually just, yeah, can throw grenades is true. If our count is 0, then we set have grenades to no and can throw grenade to no. But if our count is not 0, then we can throw grenades, but we have to wait 2 seconds, and then we can throw them again. But we need to make sure that we're setting it so that this is on startup stuff. It's setting my player HUD, add a viewport, set input mode to game only, show mouse cursor false, has grenades to true, and grenade count is 3. Why is it not working? I have to complicate shit and just screw it all up. Take something that works perfectly fine and start complicating things. Let's go to our player HUD, and this is our health bar down here. For now, let's go ahead and grab your ass and put you up there. I've changed that option 5,300 times. Let's go ahead and grab some text, and we're going to anchor that to the bottom right. Change that to grenades, colon, and do it to the right. And just for shits and grins, we'll do another text right here. And I'm going to change that to a number of 25. We're never going to have 25 grenades. You don't want your players to have 25 grenades. But I just want to have a number here. And just line it up. Then I want to go ahead and hit bind, create bindings for the text for this. And change the name here, get grenades. Then let's go ahead and cast to player underscore base, get player character. So cast a player base, we want to get grenade count. Plug that in here, and it automatically converts it to text. And that should now print our grenade count on our heads-up display. So right there, and let's anchor this to the bottom right as well. So right here in the bottom of our screen, we should see grenades. Compile and save, close. So now if we go in here and play, we can see we have 3 grenades. It are not spawning my damn grenades. So let's remove some functionality and dump you and quit breaking shit. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. We're going to set has grenades to false if we're out, and we're going to get rid of the can throw grenades. We're quit worrying about the timer. We'll move that to here, that to here, and now all we care about is if we have grenades or not. Alright, so we have 3 grenades, and why have I broken every damn thing? Seriously. It's just one of those damn days where everything I do I screw up. I tried to order a damn phone. I ended up dealing with those fools and getting between 3 and 5 phones ordered. What the hell? I'm screwing up everything. Has grenades. We need to go ahead and do has grenades as true by default. And the only time we want to set has grenades is to false is if we have 0 of them left. Damn. So now we throw a grenade. It reduces our count by 1. We can see it on our screen. Now we have 2 left. Throw another one. And there you go, and throw another one, and now we have no grenades, so now we can't throw any more grenades. Oh no, I are out of grenades. I can't throw them anymore. Yeah, gotta love it. I understand that it's our fault that we accidentally triple or maybe up to 5 times charged you for one phone. And you're going to be receiving between 3 and 5 separate orders of phones. And I realize that it's my mistake, but tough shit, deal with it. You're just going to have to pick which one you want to keep and refuse the to accept the other ones. Tough shit. Sorry for you. Sucks to be you. It sucks to be you. Alright, yeah, so that's good. Our grenade shit works. So if you wanted to then create a gadget for grenade pickup, then I would do a blueprint class, actor, grenade, or let's do frag, PU underscore BP. PU, not because it stinks, but because it's a pickup. Fuck's sake, would you get up there? Go back to our weapons, go back to our frag grenade, because we don't have any static meshes for it. We have a skeletal mesh. We'll add that, and it's grenade. And let's add in a box collision, and raise you up. Actually, let's scale you down. You don't want it to be tiny and as small as the grenade, but you want it to be, you don't want it to be huge. That's what she said. So what we'll do here is right click on our box, on component begin overlap. Really and truly, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make something that I've already started making complicated even more complicated. I'm going to go to my player base, and we know this works just fine, but we're going to screw with it a little bit more. And let's create a variable max grenades, and we want that to be an integer. and we only want to be able to carry 5 grenades. That's our max, 5. So now we have a max grenades count, and we want another one. Yeah, this is terrible, but no. I'm gonna delete that one. No, I said I want to delete you. Go away. Go away, shithead. So yeah, go to our frag grenade pickup, and we're gonna come back to our player base thing. We have our max grenades is set to 5. So what I want to do here is, since we have to do this, other actor cast to player underscore base. We only want players picking up grenades. We don't want bots picking them up. Them bastards don't need no hand grenades. So cast to play. Jeez. Typing English words. Alright, so what I want to do here is, whenever I overlap as the player base, I want to get grenade count. Okay. And I also want to get max grenades. I want to know if, honestly, first here, I want to get my grenade count, and I want to do integer is, I can do this a couple different ways. If it's greater than or equal to 5, or greater than or equal to max grenades, then set the amount to max grenades. But then also, if it's not, then we want to be able to allow it to pick up grenade. So what we need to do is check to see if I walk over the top of this grenade, I don't want the player to be able to pick it up if they can't use it. If it cannot be added to their inventory. But I also don't want them having more than 5 anyway. So if your grenade count is equal to or less than or greater than or equal to your amount of max grenades, I hope that makes sense. In other words, how many grenades you got? If you got more than 5, guess what's going to happen? You are going to set grenade count to max grenades. I'm just going to drag this from right here and just drag it to right there. So it just want, okay. So that's going to say that you can't pick it up, but it's not going to say that yet. It's just going to say if you've got 5 or more than 5, you're only going to have 5. But at that point, it's also going to ask. Not so much worried about the end overlap right now. Might not need it at all. So we've asked, do we need it? If no, then we're not going to do anything else after that. If we do, then what I want to do is I want to get grenade count, and I want to plus integer 1. We'll leave it at that. And we want to now set grenade count to our grenade count plus 1. So now we've done that. We've picked it up at this point. But what I want to do here is I don't want to destroy actor. I don't want to make it go away unless you want it to just go away. If you just want to, okay, I've picked up the grenade, now it just goes away. Well, that's fine. You can just do that. But what if you want it to be a respawning grenade system? So let's actually come in here and get a reference to our grenade body. And let's set visibility. leave it unchecked. So it's going to set visibility to false. So it's going to hide the grenade. However, the box collision is still going to be there. Okay, so we have to set collision enabled. I believe this is what I ended up having to do, because this is what works for replication as well. Because this will end up going back through a replication process. I want to turn the visibility off. I want to disable the collision of the box collision, so now you can't just walk back over it and keep picking it up whenever it's not there. So we want to set a delay of delay of 5 seconds, and then we want to do these two, Control C and Control V, plug those into here, and we want this to be true, and we want this to be collision enabled query in physics. Connect our box to the collision one, and connect our grenade to the visibility one. So this, in theory, and I'm probably missing something anyway, let's go back up to our gadgets, and since now we don't have any rogue grenades out here, we're going to set our grenade pickup right there. No, let's set it a little bit closer. So when we spawn in, we can just look over to the left, and there's a grenade pickup. So now we have 3 grenades, and I'm going to walk over this one and pick that one up. Now I have 4 grenades. It disappeared, and here in 5 seconds, it should reappear. See, no matter what, I can't go over 5. So let's go ahead and dump our grenades. Let's pick it up. You see I'm walking back and forth over the top of it. It's not giving me more. So now that it's back, I can pick up another one. So one thing I do notice is in the viewport, the grenade just happens to be below ground. And just because I'm a total freaking nerd, I'm going to add a rotating movement to it, and compile and save. And now we'll go in here and look. Our grenade is now spinning on the ground. Isn't that nerdy? Isn't that funny? Isn't that awesome? Isn't that sexy? So now we have 3 grenades. I'm going to go over here, pick it up. I'm going to walk back and forth over it. It's not giving me another grenade because it's not respawned yet. Now that it has respawned, I can pick it up. I have 5 grenades to my name, so let's let it respawn. I'm going to go back over. I'm going to pick that bastard up so you can't have one. Oh, I can't pick it up, man. I can only carry 5 grenades. So I'm going to dump all my grenades, come back over here, pick that one up, and now I can pick up another grenade. And there was much rejoicing. Wait, I see a slight problem here. Is now I have 4, and guess what? I'm not able to throw grenades. So we have to look here. Grenade count, grenade count, grenade count. Let's look at the player. What we've done here is we've said our count is 0. We ran out completely, and it set has grenades to false. So what we need to do here is do the same thing. Set has grenades to true. So it will keep defaulting it back to true here. If we run out and it does that check again, nope, our grenade count isn't 0. It isn't at or below 0, so that should rectify the situation. And so now let's go ahead and deplete our grenades. Let's go pick up grenade, and then I'm going to throw a grenade. It's not letting me throw a grenade. I'm going to pick up a second grenade. It's not letting me throw them. It's reducing our grenade count. It's checking to see if it's less than 0. See, I love breaking shit. Just, taking something that absolutely works and just making it complicated and getting rid of it and making it where it doesn't work. It's going to ask, do we have grenades? Has grenades is yes. Has grenades is true by default. So once I've reached this, and it asks, have I hit 0 or less than 0? Let's look at the pickup one more time. And it's freezing up on me here. But it's asking, get off my damn screen. It's checking to see if we have more than 5, and if it is, it's just setting it to 5, and it's not letting us go any farther from here. But if no, we don't have 5, then we can keep increasing our grenade count by 1. I guess what we need to do here is, after this point right here, we need to make sure that we reset, and we're going to need to get this from the player character. Let's come all the way back here as player base. We need to set has grenades, check that to true, and this should rectify the situation. Because we've allowed ourselves to pick up 1, so we now have grenades. So let's go back in here and grenade, grenade, grenade. We now have got rid of all 3 grenades. And let's go pick up 1. And oh, for fuck's sake, there we go. It just fired and threw my new grenade. So if I come back in here, it should automatically update, and it should automatically come on, spawn me another one, allow me to now pick them up and throw grenades again. So okay, that was it. It's working. I'm done. Taking a break. That's 3 hours. There's your damn hand grenades here, bruh. So yeah, that's hand grenades. Explosions for hand grenades. Throwing them, spawning them, putting it in our player widget so that we can see our grenade count, allowing us to pick up more grenades and keep updating our count based on how many we have. Yeah, what else do you want? Jeez, just kidding. Yeah, just, you got shit like that you want to ask, do it. Wednesday night streams, no time limit, and unless I just get freaking tired. But it's just, y'all make requests and I just make shit. If you don't make requests, and I just make whatever the hell I feel like making. So the next thing I'm going to do is take a break for a little while, and then I'm going to go ahead and set up the Cindy Studios characters in this project. And because this project is actually set up with the Polygon Battle Royale, I can actually go into the demonstration map and minimize those two or close them. Sure, let's save selected. But since this is the Polygon Battle Royale pack, we'll just keep screwing around with this pack here, and I'm just going to make a little multiplayer shooter with grenades. I'll do multiplayer replication on the grenades, and then I'll set up a shooting system, and I'll get that working and tweaking, and then I'll introduce some other animations and stuff like that. If you haven't seen this asset pack, you need to get your asset pack over to Cindy Studios on the thing. You got frickin' M1 Abrams tanks, some Russian. I think these are what, T-54 based. They're don't really look like T-72s. They look more like a T-55, I don't know, just kind of pre-T-72. I'd have to look at the road wheels and recalculate how I remember them. But you got Humvees, both blown up and regular, armored vehicle, blown up and regular, dune buggy, assault buggy, normal and regular. Could start making those actually functional. Got some cargo trucks, got Humvee, got shooting range. What else here? All the buildings are enterable. All of them have interiors. You can walk around, go inside, upstairs, downstairs. Yeah. So you see you got interior for all these buildings. I'm just kind of flying through them right now. One thing they didn't put into this version of it is there's a Zodiac boat. Inflatable RHIB, rib, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, you got some vehicles and tanks and armored cars and a motorcycle. All enterable buildings. You got some practice targets. These are ones that I used in the FPS series as these targets. So yeah, I can make something fun out of this. So yeah, that's what I'll start working on, playing around with it. But since we're here right now, let's go ahead and right click, play from here, and exit game because I'm freaking retarded and tired. And third person game mode. And let's try that again. Hey, look, now I'm actually in the map. But like I did with the barrels, I'll set those up to be exploding barrels. There's propane tanks, I'll set them up to explode as well. Change our view. Let's throw a grenade. Bounced off the Humvee and off the ground. There we go. I'll set up a shooting system. I'll set up the scope system, binocular system, things like that I was doing in the FPS series. I'm going to start translating all that into a first-person / third-person shooter. Like these propane tanks will explode, and apply radial damage, and then if there's any other drums around, they'll just continue to explode, that kind of stuff. It's because the lighting has not been built. So if you look inside, like right here, it says, well, excuse me, I don't want to look at your nuts. I want to look at what this guy's talking about. See, preview, and that's just simply because that would be where shadows and lighting is. There's one thing I definitely got to do is set up my death sequence. Oh, where'd it go? Went to the world. Oh, no, there it is. I'll set up the characters. I'll set up the damage system for everything. To where, like, I just threw that grenade at these targets, then they'll take, you know, like impulse force or whatever, and that kind of crap too. Yeah, if I were to go in here and hit escape and select build, lighting build only, it's probably going to slow down my computer a little bit. Even though this is not a total potato, it's probably going to slow it down. Lighting build failed. In this case right here, this is to do with the asset pack itself and the way that they set up the world. And the world settings, pre-compute visibility is not checked. Yes, other people have been talking about having problems doing a lighting build on this particular map. And if I actually sit here and do build instead of just lighting build, it's going to build the texture streaming and that kind of stuff, but it's going to fail again because it can't do a lighting build. I will look into that. I've heard other people complaining about it as well. And if you can't get it to do a lighting build, you're not going to be able to get rid of all the preview whenever you're actually looking at it. And that's in-game and in the editor. So since I do a lot of stuff with and for City Studios, I will actually take a look at the different lighting systems that they've got set up in here, and find out why it's actually doing that and come up with a hot fix. So I know at sometimes whenever you're doing like world settings, like the light source, you can set no computed pre-computed lighting, and you could basically disable the fact that it's actually checking the lighting all the time. But yeah, I would need to look through and see what's what on here for the world settings. Like, see, pre-compute visibility, you can disable that and that will change the way the lighting works. I don't normally do that unless I'm really just screwing around with something big and I don't care about lighting. But I will look through all these settings to see what I can come up with. And just remind me, like on Discord or whatever, and say, hey, dipshit, did you figure it out? And I'll probably say yes or no on there. So, but it's something to do with some of the settings in here whenever they actually created this map. Pre-compute parameters. Yeah, this is the only asset pack that I've seen so far from them that actually has a problem with doing a lighting build. And I'm going to venture to say that it's in the light forest or one of them that's actually causing an issue. Static light source, set it to movable maybe. Usually one of the things that I do, like for the light source for the sun, is I make sure that it's set to movable, and you can actually then run another script. I haven't done it in a while, but you can set it up to where the sun will actually transition across the sky. The light source will change as well and circle around and around and around, and it'll actually become nighttime. I did that. I changed that on the light source. I changed it over to movable, and it got rid of where it was saying preview everywhere. So now if I try doing a lighting only build, lighting build failed. It got rid of where it said preview. Yeah, I'll screw around with that some more. It got rid of the word preview. So to me that's good enough. I'm not going to use this map except for just the demo portion of it, and then I'll come back and either I'll do a map or I'll get somebody else to do a map for me, because I can do all kind of other crap, but I'm slow at doing maps. It's like this. All the damn doors are closed, so I'll have to go through here and open up all the frickin' doors so we can walk inside all the buildings. It's like the containers. You can walk inside all the containers. And yes, if you know anything about containers, they only have doors on one side, not all the way through. Just saying. I've already, joked around with the other guys from City Studios. Oh, hey, did you guys ever really see a shipping container? You see one up close? Do you see how many sets of doors they contain? Love the asset pack, though. I'll keep screwing around with it to see if I can come up with some other things to fix that. But for now, it looks fixed enough for me. It got rid of the preview. But other things I need to work on is I got to do a ladder system so that if you've got a ladder on the side of a building, you'll be able to walk up to it and actually climb up the ladder. It's like these buildings have decent rooftops on them as well. So if you look, you could actually have a ladder going up the side of a building, or like see right here, you open up this door, grab that and rotate it around. They did, and it disappeared. Nobody can find it anywhere. I have it, but it was released for Unity and not for Unreal Engine. But if you know what you're doing with it, you can actually get it to work. And there's some animations. Oh God, I got fixed collision issues on that. But yeah, there is horses with animations and rider animations, and yeah. I have the Cinti Studios horse pack. You don't? Really? It might actually still be in the Unity Marketplace. I haven't looked, but yeah, it was on the Unity Marketplace for Polygon horses, but there are FBX files, so you can import them into Unreal Engine 4, and worst case scenario, you slap them through Blender and then fix a few things on it and run it through. I've actually had them in game. I have not taken the time to set up the animations on them or anything. I haven't spent much time with them, but I know that they do have a horse pack, and it was for their Unity. It wasn't for Unreal Engine 4. Yeah, seriously got to fix the collisions on this. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break for a little bit. We're over the 3-hour mark, and I normally keep this no more than an hour. I'm going to take a break for a little while, and if you guys want me to stream some more, just let me know, and I'll keep working on this project right here, and I'll just keep adding crap to it. I was doing this with the first person, and I just don't like first person. I really don't. And taking some of the elements that I put into the hotel as well, don't really need so much on the teleports, but I may do them anyway just to make life more fun. I'll pull in stuff from the FPS tutorial and actually bring in the scope system, the binocular system, and I'll start setting up an aiming and crosshair system for each of the different style weapons. Have a different crosshair pack for assault guns versus snipers. There's a ladder right there. So, and then we'll start working on like ladder systems and do a full-on shooter just for entertainment purposes. Make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button. Join my Discord if you haven't. If you want some private session stuff to where it's one-on-one doing screen shares through Discord, like I said, that's going to be $20 for an hour. If you want my simple multiplayer Steam template, that's $20. And if you buy that from me and you need help setting it up or configuring it or whatever, then let me know, and I can do a screen share on Discord free for that if you bought the asset pack. No begathon here, but that's the only money that I have for income is from selling the simple multiplayer Steam template and doing private sessions to help people with UE4 stuff. And you know, that's about it. Tips and donations. I have less than 1,000 subscribers, so if you have not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. I don't care if you hit that notification bell. I don't care. It's up to you if you want to do that. But I need the subscribers. I need to get over 1,000 so I can activate some other features within YouTube. I'm not going to put ads. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to enable advertising on any of my videos. You're probably running an ad blocker anyway. I know the hell I am. I don't like ads on videos. So why the hell would I put them on my videos? I used to, but I'm not going to do it anymore. So if you guys want to watch my videos, you watch them. If you want to spend money, hell, spend money on me. Send it to PayPal. I don't hold my hand out all the friggin' time. But, you know, you want to say thanks? There you go. Drop a donation via PayPal. No more Patreon. Patreon's gone. I completely shut down my account on Patreon. It sucked ass, and I lost money. I've lost money with Patreon. So, I'm out of here. Y'all give me a shout on Discord. Let me know if you want me to stream some more. But I do need a break. Alright, we'll see you soon.